and welcome back to our story time. I'm so glad that you're here. We're using the Lectionary Story Bible by Ralph Milton, and we're grateful to Ralph for letting his stories be used free from copyright. Today's story is called How to Build a Strong House, and it's based on Matthew chapter 7, verses 21 to 29. This is a story that Jesus told to his friends. Living God's way is a bit like building a house. There was once a man named Jotham. "I am going to build the best house ever," said Jotham. "It's going to be big and strong, and everyone will say, 'That's a great house.'" Jotham often talked about living God's way. He told his friends how he was going to help people when they were sick or hurting or unhappy. But Jotham never really did that. He never went to help anyone. When someone was telling stories about living God's way, Jotham said he was too busy to listen. Jotham built his house down on the sand right beside the water. "Who wants a house way up high on a rock?" he said. "I want my house on the sand so I can run out the front door and go for a swim." Jotham didn't build his house carefully, not the way he said he would build it. Instead of using stones for the walls, he used some reeds. Then he just plopped the roof on without tying it down. "I'll do that some other day," he said. "I'm tired." So when a big storm came and the wind blew really hard, Jotham's house fell down. Crash! That was just the way things happened in his life. He never really tried to live in God's way, so when bad things happened in his life, Jotham didn't know that God loved him. Poor Jotham felt as if he was all alone. Jotham had a friend named Michael. Michael found a big, solid rock to build his house on. He used good, strong stones for the walls. He made sure the roof was tied down really tight. Michael didn't talk much about building a good, strong house, but that's the kind of house he built. Michael didn't just talk about living in God's way. That's the kind of life he lived. He tried to help other people. When someone was sick or hurting or unhappy, Michael always went to help. He liked to hear stories about how other people had learned how to live God's way. One day there was a big storm. The wind blew very hard, but Michael's house didn't fall down. When some bad things happened in Michael's life, he felt bad and he cried sometimes. But no matter what happened, Michael always knew that God loved him, and that helped him feel strong inside. Sometimes you might hear your mom or your dad or even me talk about church and coming to church as building a foundation. That means to build something that's really solid so that you can build on top of it. Kind of like that rock in the story. And that foundation for us as Christians, that foundation for us as people who follow God and follow Jesus, is that God loves you. God loves each and every one of you. And that is the best foundation ever, because then we can build all sorts of things on top of it. So I'm glad you joined us for our story today, and I hope that you'll come back again tomorrow to hear another story about God's love.